And then Joe Mixon, another running back. Joe Mixon, who signed a contract before and just took a pay cut for the team. Team? Okay. But Joe Mixon declined to talk to certain media outlets. Those media outlets, Sports Illustrated, Cincinnati Enquirer, Pro Football Network, and ESPN. Recently, Joe Mixon was cited for a misdemeanor aggravated menacing. Police claimed that Joe Mixon pointed a gun at a young lady and claimed that he would shoot her. Well, he just was cleared of all of those charges, not guilty. And my speculation is that Joe Mixon was a guy who has a little history. Joe Mixon was the guy, Oklahoma, who punched a girl in the face. It was reported that racial slurs are being spewed back and forth between one another, and she slapped Joe Mixon, and Joe Mixon punched her in the face and fractured bones in her face. That's on his record. But I get Joe Mixon's frustration as someone who now sits on the media side, as someone who sat in the player side. Media at times, especially if you got a history, especially if it's salacious. Did I say that right? Salacious? Salacious. If it's salacious, they're going to write it in big print. They're going to write it in big print. It's going to be the leading story. Because as we know, drama, negativity sells. And so these reports are probably being written by the Enquirer, Cincinnati Enquirer, Pro Football News, ESPN, Sports Illustrated. And Joe probably felt like he wasn't being represented right or fairly. I get it. One, you want to keep yourself out of that nonsense. But two, sometimes these reporters have to make these tough calls and these questions and they write these stories not because they want to. It's because they got a boss behind them that says you better write it or you're not going to have a job. See, most people don't sit at the throne like Stephen A. where he can kind of call all his shots, but even still, he has bosses. Where you can say things and can't say things. Where you have to write things and can't write things. So Joe a little tight. Joe a little butthurt. I feel him. Because sometimes things get written and they slander your name and they say bad things about you. And then when it comes out that you're innocent, not guilty, that you actually were on the right side of the law, whispers from those same people who wrote those loud stories. So I get it. Joe can be a little bit butthurt. But you got to remember sometimes that it ain't always the people. Sometimes it is the people. We have some nasty, vile, evil people that roam this earth. And the likes of social media and these different platforms have given them the opportunity to say and write and do different things that they necessarily probably should get smacked in the mouth for. I don't condone violence, but sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes smacking fire up out of somebody is necessary. It's a necessary evil. I don't condone violence. I do condone correction. However that comes. But there's a penalty for that. Be willing to pay for it. So we'll see. We'll see if Joe kind of breaks, but he probably won't. But sometimes the media's, we're only doing our job, Joe. I'm on the media now. Okay? I'm for the media. I'm the new media. That's what the young people say. The new media. I'm new media, Joe. I'm here to tell your side of the story. I'm the new media. But yeah, man. That's all I got. That's it.